The phone rang while I was slicing strawberries. 7:12 a.m. Breakfast sunlight flooded the marble counter. Swiss porcelain, imported knives, precision. My daughter-in-law's voice pierced the calm. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes." A laugh followed, sharp, public, on speaker. I imagined her standing in my son's kitchen, hand on hip, believing I was still the quiet, aging inconvenience she could summon and dismiss. I wiped the blade clean. "Enjoy," I replied. Silence. Then she hung up. I finished arranging the fruit beside the smoked salmon. My husband's chair remained empty. It had been empty for months. Business trips, he said. Motorsport sponsorship deals. Late meetings at the Speedway. I already knew about the meetings. Her name was Elena. Younger, polished, strategic. She had called me 2 weeks earlier from a blocked number. "Erase yourself," she'd said softly. "For better optics." Optics. As if I were a stain, I agreed. Quietly. That was the moment breakfast turned into shock. Not because of what she said, but because of how easily I pretended to obey. They mistook silence for surrender. They forgot I built everything they were standing on, and that I never move without a blueprint. I didn't discover the affair through lipstick or perfume. It was financial. A shell company registered 3 months ago. Motorsport branding investments. Transfers routed through accounts I personally structured years ago. He forgot. I used to run compliance for international holdings. I see patterns the way surgeons see arteries. Elena wasn't just a mistress. She was an upgrade strategy. My son's wife, the one screaming about dishes, had joined them recently. I saw her signature on a document authorizing reallocation of family. Trust assets into a revitalized brand identity. I was the brand they were revitalizing away from. At dinner one evening before Switzerland, my husband avoided my eyes. "We need to modernize," he said. "Modernize." I watched his fork tremble. Elena appeared publicly at the Speedway soon after, photographed beside him. Polished smile. Red silk dress. The optics were shifting. I was being archived. They thought I didn't notice the quiet edits to board access, the subtle removal from email chains, the sudden invitation for me to rest. Rest. My daughter-in-law called it retirement with dignity. I called it theft with choreography. But I said nothing. Shock is loud at first, then it becomes cold. And cold is useful. I relocated to my villa in Switzerland without announcement. Luxury photographs travel faster than gossip. Snow against glass. Stone terraces. Private lake access. I let them circulate. Then I began. First, I hired a forensic accountant in Zurich. Quiet, efficient, no digital trails, linking back to me. Second, I accessed archived founding documents, clauses, written 25 years ago, when the company was fragile and I was not. Buried in the language was a contingency. Moral clause, public scandal, fraud, reputational endangerment, automatic asset freeze. They forgot I drafted it. Third, I secured evidence. Emails between my husband and Elena detailing staged announcements. Language like transition narrative, legacy repositioning, public sympathy window. They were waiting to reveal me as frail, irrelevant. I attended board meetings via proxy while pretending to sip tea on a balcony. Every move they made, I mirrored 3 steps ahead. Externally, I remained gracious. I even texted my daughter-in-law a photograph of the villa. The phone rang 71 times that night. 71. Voicemails shifted tone rapidly. From mockery to curiosity. From curiosity to calculation. "Mother, perhaps we should talk," my son finally said. But I wasn't ready to talk. The Speedway was hosting its largest event of the year. Sponsors, media, live broadcast, perfect optics. They wanted a stage. I would give them one. The evidence arrived in a slim folder. Transactions, affair correspondence, asset redirection plans. But the real jewel was the prenup amendment Elena convinced him to sign. It nullified her claims if misconduct damaged shareholder value. She didn't read carefully. He didn't either. I flew back the night before the event. No announcement. At breakfast in the penthouse suite overlooking the track, I placed the folder beside his coffee. He looked older. "Elena thinks you've accepted the transition," he said carefully. I opened the folder. "No," I replied. He read. Color drained from his face as he reached the clause. The one that activated immediate investigation, upon evidence submission to the board. "You wouldn't," he whispered. "I already did." Elena entered mid-silence. confident stride, until she saw the documents. "This is manipulation," she snapped. "No," I corrected. "It's documentation." My son arrived minutes later, pale. His wife trailing behind him, eyes scanning the room like a trapped animal. "You're overreacting," she said. I slid a printed email toward her, request for early trust disbursement signed in coordination with Elena. She stopped speaking. Shock is a mirror. They were finally looking at themselves. The Speedway stage glittered that afternoon. Cameras flashing. Sponsors seated. Elena expected a public acknowledgement, a graceful transition speech. Instead, I stepped forward. No anger, just clarity. "I founded this company," I began, "and today I activate a clause protecting it from internal corruption." Gasps ripple differently when they are deserved. The board representative confirmed an immediate investigation. Temporary removal of executive authority pending review. My husband's microphone was cut. Elena tried to speak. Security gently intervened. Optics. Beautiful optics. My daughter-in-law's face on the screen behind. Us flickered between defiance and terror. Her financial transfers were displayed. Briefly, just enough for shareholders to understand. Not humiliation. Illumination. My son approached me backstage. "Why didn't you warn us?" he asked. "I did," I said. Silence. Through patience. Through loyalty. Through years of foundation. You ignored it. Elena's voice cracked somewhere behind the curtain. For the first time, she looked young. Not polished. Not strategic. Just cornered. I felt nothing. That was the most terrifying part. Investigations move slowly, but consequences move instantly. Accounts frozen. Titles suspended. Public narratives shift like wind. My phone is quiet now. No 71 missed calls. No demands about dishes. The villa in Switzerland remains untouched by their panic. Snow falls with discipline. I sit by the glass and review updated reports. The company will survive. Whether they do is not my concern. I do not hate them. Hate requires heat, and I am finished burning. Breakfast is simple now. Strawberries. Silence. Order. Elena once asked me to erase myself for better optics. Instead, I erased their illusion. Cheaters beg when exposure replaces secrecy. But mercy is not strategic. It is sentimental. And I have outgrown sentiment. I lift my coffee. Outside, the mountains remain unmoved, so do I.